So my birthday's coming up, and what could I do but buy myself books? In my new pile of books, I have Silverthorn by Raymond E. Feist. This is the second or third book in the Riftwar saga, depending on which edition you own or have read. It's the second book for me because I own the revised edition of Magician, which is the first book, or a compilation of the first and second book. This follows 3 side characters from the first book as to kind of what happens to them afterwards. I'm excited because these were like the 3 side characters that I was like, ooh, well, I actually kind of want to hear more about them, and so I'm really glad that I get to hear more about them. And then I got myself The Enemy by Charlie Higson. This is the first book in the Enemy series, which is a 7-book series. Don't ask me why I got second through to 7 book first and then got the first book. I did have the first book, but then I lent it out to someone and it never came back. So here I am, giving up on the hopes that it'll ever come back to me. I was remembering this. I did another take beforehand where I was remembering what was in this book, so I am going to say it now that I will warn you guys, even though this is middle grade or considered middle grade, it's very gory. Everyone over the age of 14 becomes a zombie in a world where zombies have never been perceived before, so they call them, I think the main term they use is sickos, but they call them grown-ups and other stuff like that. So you do read about little kids getting eaten alive, and you do read about kids killing themselves because they don't want to be eaten alive, or killing their friends because they don't want their friend to die. So it is gory. You have been warned. This is not a series for the faint of heart, and I fucking love it. I have the second book of the Gravedigger Chronicles, The Art of Hunting by Ellen Campbell, and more Ianth, more Thomas Granger, a hell of a lot more Inma, and a whole lot more magic. I'm really excited to get back into this world because the first book, the world that the first book set up was just so immersive, and so it had such a cool atmosphere to it. So I'm really excited to get back into this world, and I can't wait to see how my little Ianth and Granger are doing. Hopefully they still fuck shit up. The next book I got myself was Fighting Packs. I'm pretty sure this is the last installment of the Dancing Jack series. It's by Robin Jarvis. Again, just like the Enemy series, this series is also a really heavy book. You do read about a lot of deaths, and the second book focuses around a concentration camp. This book, by the second chapter, we were in North Korea. The first book, I'm going to talk to you about the first book because if I talk to you about the last book, I'm going to spoil a couple things. But the first book is about a book that takes over the minds of people that read it, which is awesome. It's done in a really awesome way. It's a book about a book. It sounds a lot cooler than what I made it sound. And then I have the second book in the series that I don't think the series has a name. I haven't seen the name of the series. It's this sequel to The Red Knight, The Fell Sword by Miles Cameron. It starts off exactly where the last book ended, off into a new adventure, and I can't wait to see where the Red Knight and his company goes off to next. Can't wait to see them do their thing because they're funny. And if you haven't noticed the theme of this video yet, yes, these are all series that I have read or did start to read or own, and I'm trying to finish or complete or continue. I bought this, which is Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials, the bind-up, consisting of Northern Lights, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. And little fun fact about myself, this is the first book, aside from the Babysitter's Club, that I ever read. I used to read the Babysitter's Club and the Babysitter's Club alone because I wanted to read and I like to read, I just didn't know what to read. And then I picked up Northern Lights when I was around 10 or 11 years old. And there you have it. I was taken aback by all the magic in this book. This book was the book that started it all. So I'm super excited to finally finish it. I read the first 2 books and a little bit of the third book, but yeah, I haven't finished it, so it's been almost 10 years in the making, but I'm finally gonna finish this series. It's a good series. The last 2 books that I got myself were kind of like little treats, kind of like once you've read 6 series, you kind of need to take a break, or you kind of need to take a break in between and just kind of go off something that's like a little lighter. So the first book I got of it, if you can't see it, is The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valent. I just kind of like the sound of this book. It's about a girl who circumnavigated fairyland in a ship of her own making. It's kind of in the title. And the next kind of book I got comic book, graphic novel, I'm not sure yet, Descender, Volume 1, 10 stars. It's by Jeff Lemire and Dustin, you ready to watch me fuck up his last name? Nguyen. NG is pronounced ng in Māori, and that's the only way I know how to pronounce it. Nguyen. I don't know. If someone tell me how to pronounce his last name, please. I feel bad if I've pronounced it wrong. And the last lot of books I have to show you were actually gifted to me. I didn't buy them at all. Look, free books, okay? That's all you need to know. And they were gifted to me by my best friend Monica, who runs a booktubing channel called Easy Kill. And most definitely, if you go down in my description, you will find all her links below, because I will shamelessly support her unto death. You should go check her out. She's so funny and she's super cool. So she got me an entire series that I started reading a couple years ago and never got around to finishing, just because it's not sold in bookstores in New Zealand. So she ordered them for me online. And that series is the Dreamers series by David Lee Eddings. This includes The Elder Gods, The Treasured One, Crystal Gorge, and The Younger Gods, all by David and Lee Eddings. Ain't they cute? I think they're husband and wife. If they are, even if they're not, if they're just brother and sister or something. But if they're husband and wife, that's so cute. They wrote a series together. Oh my god. Goals. But I have read the first book and I fell in love with it, and it's made me want to read all the other books. It's about 8 elder gods, 4 asleep and 4 awake, in every eon or so they switch places with their opposing 4, and during this switch is the only time where kind of the world, I guess, is vulnerable or susceptible to consumption by evil. And the ruler of the wasteland, doesn't he sound merry? The ruler of the wasteland decides, you know what, you fuckers, I don't like this. Whatever this is, I don't like this. I'm just here to fuck shit up. That's my prime and main goal in life. So that's what he does. And I really enjoyed this book, and I can't wait to read it again and reread the rest of the series. I can't wait to finish the series that I started and never got around to finishing and now own the complete entirety of. I can't wait to read my first comic book or graphic novel. Someone tell me what I bought, because I'm not quite sure which description it goes under, but I'm having so much difficulty deciding which to start first and then which to start second and third. Ooh. That's a lot of decisions. My cheeks are cramping. That's how excited I am when I look at these books. I'm so excited to finally finish all these series, and yes, yes, it's a good birthday. It's looking to be a really good birthday. I'll hopefully see you next week with a wrap up and a TBR, if I can decide which books I want to read first. Oh shit. Okay, bye bye. You should go get it out at your nearest library. What was that?